Okay, so this is a tutorial on how I'm going to build this logo here. Um, I can show you the finished thing, I think. Let me just see where we are. There it is there. That's the finished thing I made. But I started it with this. So let's have a look how I did it. Now, full disclosure, I can't quite remember how I did it, how I put it together, so I'm just going to have a go at it. So basically it's going to be rectangles, squares, and maybe this one parallelogram. But what you'll find here is these lines won't be consistently angled. You see this angle here and this angle here are different because it's just a sketch and that's how they should be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a line here that's 45 degrees, a straight line, and another 45-degree angle, but they won't match up. So the way I'm going to do this, I am going to do this as a big block and then half a circle here attached to it, but you'll see how it goes. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to build up as much as I need of this. So I'm going to use the rectangle tool. I'm going to start about here, and I'm going to draw to there. Now, if I hold it as a square, it'll go all the way out to there, but I don't need it to go that way. I just need it to go as far as there, because that's where I'm going to put the other half of the circle. So what I'll do is I'll go back to my circle now, and I'm going to go ellipse. I'm going to start on that line. You can see where it says path. That means I'm right on that line. I'm going to drag. And the smart guide will show me that I'm half the height of the rectangle now. So I'm going to use that. And I'm going to drag that over. And you'll see it's intersecting horizontally with the circle and the side of the box. So I am going to choose my image at the back. I should have done this at the start. I'm going to say Object Lock Selection. So it just locks that one object, but it doesn't lock any of my layers. So I'm going to select both of these, and I'm going to set them to black outlines and no fills. And I might make the outline a little thicker just so as I can see it. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this shape here. So Control Command Z. I'm going to start on that line there, and I'm going to click once. I'm going to go out to here, and then I'm going to hold my Shift key down until it lines up with the bottom there. Now I was just holding my Shift key down as I went around there. Now don't worry that there's a gap there. It really won't matter. The line is going to cover that. So I've got my three shapes here. And if I'm in any doubt, I can just stretch that over. And I'm just going to take both of these shapes here. I'm going to line them up on the bottom. Sorry, I need to do that. I'll show you why that happened. Command Z, Command Z. Now, at the moment when I align something, it's been told to align to the artboard. I'm just going to tell it to align it to itself as such. Now I want to make sure, because I've moved that now, I just want to make sure that this lines up. So you can see it's centered and centered. No, that's not right. Still slightly off. Now you see what happens when you move these things a little bit. That looks right to me. Now, you can see here that the lines aren't lining up exactly. That's okay, you know. But what I would like to do is I would like to have this line meet this point here. So I'm going to select this object. I'm just going to move it over. But you can see that the oar is now extending much further than you would like. So that's probably down to the fact that I use 45-degree angles when the image doesn't really allow for that. So, but as a starting point, it's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this point, and this point. I select all of them actually. No, I'm going to select these two. And I'm going to nudge those over with my cursor keys. Will they line up a bit better? What I'm going to do is I've got to show my rulers. With my rulers, I can just drag out a guide there, and I'm just going to take this line at this point, and this point, and I'm going to nudge it over. Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't get the other one. So bring out my guide. I'm going to select this point. Oh, I see what it is. Okay. So I've got these 2 points. I'm going to nudge them over. It's bringing the ruler with it. That's the problem. That's the problem. Oh, I see. Okay. So nudge those over. So everybody made it a bit more confusing now, but it's just, yeah, they look pretty lined up to me. Okay, get rid of that. So that's my basic shape. I'm going to take those 3 shapes and I'm going to combine them as one with the Pathfinder. I'll just make the outline black. Let's just make it a bit bigger so we can see what we're doing. Okay, so now I'm going to take an outline. So I'm going to kind of line it up about halfway through here. Click. Now I have to do this by eye because if I go 45 degrees, you see they're way off. So there, straight across to there. Okay, I'm going to escape that. So that's my line there, okay? So I want that line to be white. So let's just try and make this look visually the way we want it now. So I'm going to tell this to be orange, swap those around. I'm going to tell this line here to be white. And then I'm going to make it okay. And then I can nudge it over, nudge it up. I want the middle point of that line kind of lining up right there. Now, I'm looking at it now and I can see that this line is off, you know. So what I'll do is I will take my direct selection tool, I'll grab that point there, and I'll start moving that over. I'm going to eyeball that, and that looks right to me. What I'm looking for is this line and this line to be kind of parallel with each other. And you can kind of see it there that it's not really, can you see the way this rectangle here is narrower at the bottom than at the top, so let's keep pushing it over until they look a bit more like each other. So then what I could do is I could take this line or this point as well and nudge them both over that way. So I want to get it just before it touches the left-hand edge and just before it touches that point there. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to remove this line from this. I want to just cut it out. But at the moment, it's a line that has a thickness. That's, you know, and you can see over here where I selected. You can see that this is a 45-point line, but that's not a shape. That's just a line which is essentially invisible until you tell it what the point size is. But that's not a shape. It's just a line that has a thickness, and we can subtract that line from this object. So what we do is we take that line and we say object, expand, and we tell it to expand it to have a fill and a stroke. Say OK, and now it's a shape. And now I can subtract that shape from that shape. So I select them both. I can do it here. I could subtract the second one from the first, and there it is. So let's unlock everything. I'm just going to move that over there. There's my shape. And I'm going to say that's a group already. So then I took a rounded rectangle, and I just placed it in that. I'm going to swap those around. I'm going to make the stroke thicker. And I might go with contrasting blue. And then I'm going to choose text. And I'm going to say revolution. Revolution. highlight all of that. I'm going to say Alt and drag to make a copy. Select it all, center it. There you go. So let's say, for argument's sake, that this is my logo. So just when you click on the page here, you'll see an option over here. Just make sure Scale, Strokes, and Effects is on. I'll show you why. I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to scale down this this shape. And you see the way the line hasn't gotten any thinner? If I click on the empty page, Scale, Strokes, and Effects. Now when I scale this, it scales with it. Do you know what I mean? So the lines will get thinner as they go. So I'm going to copy that out, place it there, and I'm going to make this the black and white one. So I'm going to fill everything in black. I'm going to swap those around. No fill. Here's the black and white one. I'm going to copy this across to here. Let's select all three of them, scale them down a bit. This one, move that over a bit. And I am going to take this, this, I'm holding the Shift key down here to replace, I select more than one object. I'm going to fill this in with black, or sorry, should that be white? Yeah, black, that should be black. I'm going to take this shape and I'm going to say, right click on it, and I can say Arrange, Send to the back. So there's the reverse version of it. So, but you can see this is slightly smaller because it does have a white outline. I'm going to tell it to have, I'm going to tell it to have a black outline just so it's the same thickness as the other one. And there it is. So full color, reverse, or sorry, black and white, reverse. So it gives you a sense straight away if the logo is working or not. And I'm going to scale those down a bit. I'm going to take these two, place them up here. Right, so I'm going to take this first batch here, and I'm going to group that. Same with this one. I think I can right click and group, yeah. This one, right click and group. If I select all three groups now, you see over here where a line is, I have an option to distribute the objects as well. So I'm going to distribute them horizontally. And let's say, for argument's sake, this one was here. I select the three of them, distribute, and then I align them to the top, and then they're all evenly spaced out with each other. And I could take those, Alt and drag. So because I Alt and dragged it a certain amount. If I press Command or Control D, it'll duplicate that. And then I could take this one, ungroup it, and then maybe try out different color combinations. Ungroup. Select your middle object there. Change the, let's take both of these. And I'm going to use my swatches for these just to stay consistent. And just make sure that you arrange those to the back. I know, it's worth a try. Just try these things, and you might find that just by trying these things out that you get different results. In your swatches, you've got this little icon here. Click on that, and I can say Open Swatch Library, and I'm going to choose Nature, and I'm going to go with Stone and Brick. So it opens up this new palette of colors for me here. So I'm going to try some with this. So this one, Ungroup. going to take the background and arrange it to the back because it was the last thing I did, so it's on top as such. Send to the back. Let's try that. Let's try that. Let's try that. And records we'll do darker again. So now let's go records. Very dark. The outline of this one, excuse me. So there's one based on a theme as such, a particular set of colors. Let's go back in here. I'm going to say swatches, open swatch library. Let's go foliage. Foliage gives you a bunch of green, so let's try that. Right click on group, background, shape, send to the back. Let's pick a base color for that. Swap those around actually. The logo itself, let's go with a dark green for that. So I've got my, let's go with dark green. And revolution and records, let's put that in white. See what that looks like. Okay, try one more. Back to my original swatches palette because I have to load in the palettes from there. I'm going to go with, let's go earth tone, see what that brings up. Here we go. So this one, on group, that outside rectangle, in my case, I have to send that to the back. Choose this object here. Revolution and records. And you can see once you start picking things based on a theme of colors, if you like, you end up with very pleasing kind of selections. Do you know what I mean? So again, I'm going to ungroup this one, go back to my swatches, open up a new library, and this time we'll go with, let's go with cool colors. So bluish kind of hues. So background, rectangle, right click, arrange, send to back. Let's go something light for that. Sorry. Like that. Gonna bring my fill to the front. I quite like the white there, but let's try something else. And for our outside, for our border, let's go dark blue. And finally, ungroup. One more swatches palette. Swatch library, gradients. I won't go gradients. Oh, let's go gradients. We'll try it. Let's go gems and jewels. You see these are going to be hideous, but we'll give it a go anyway. Fill. I'm going to go with that. This I'm going to go with. And I'll just go with white for those. Yeah, they're already white. For the outline of this one, oof, very cheesy, very 80s. But you can see how quickly you've got a variety of options that you can choose from. Personally, I still quite like this one, but I also like this one too. This one's not bad. I like green. I'm always a bit partial to green. This one works as well. This one, I think the red is too strong. This one is a bit cheesy. This one's okay, but a bit plain. You could imagine that printed on a brown paper bag kind of look to it as well. And yeah, there you go. All right, that's it.